There
There
you
we
go.
go. We are
Then
recording.
hold on.
All right.
Oh, I gave host to you, so I can't. I'm not the host
You
anymore.
can't do anything. I think
I'm
you
not
can
in
become a
control.
co-host.
You're running the show.
Aquarius Full Moon,
Aquarius full moon. Okay, so this
done via Zoom,
Jordan, do you
apart from
want
each other, because we recorded a whole episode,
2.5 hours
two
long?
and a half hour long episode,
I think one of our best, honestly.
3 minutes in, no audio.
We do have a video of us talking.
Only a
I watch
video.
and we're often distracted doing other things. It's riveting stuff.
Yep, as always. But it was our debut of our cups episode, so it's too bad that we lost that
No,
audio.
I think it's kind of good.
Okay. So let's just repeat a bunch of stuff to each other, shall we? And react as if we're hearing it for the first time.
All right.
God
I can do that because I was really trying to remember, and I don't remember a lot of it
only knows.
because it's
Oh,
also like just babbling.
so
We did a tarot spread.
we did, and I didn't love it because we were doing an Aquarius new moon tarot spread. I don't know. I like to look at the full moon as a time of looking back at the past 6 months to the previous new moon, a time for celebration and reflection, and really like emphasis on the celebration and gratitude and oh, look at how far I've come.
Yeah.
And most people are using it as like a letting go and releasing time. So like you're supposed to think about like all the things that I don't like and are not working and my like
Can it
all.
be both?
Well, I think it can be, but I don't ever see like now is a time for celebration. It's always like think about everything that's not working in your life and let it go. And
Both those things can be valid at the same time, but I'd
yeah,
like the emphasis to be on the positive.
yeah. Well, and I think there's a better time during the cycle to do the letting go and the releasing, and it's like not anywhere close to the full moon.
When is it?
So the dark of the moon, which is like a couple days leading up to the new moon, and it makes sense, right? Like that's a better order of things in my mind. You release things, you let go of things that aren't working to make way for setting new intentions
Mm-hmm.
at the new moon. So it's like, okay, the new moon's coming up. What should I be letting go of? Clearing my space, clearing my energy, set my intentions. Then you work towards those intentions, leading all the way up to the full moon. And then at the full moon, it's like, yay, I've made it. Celebrate. You like kind of like, oh, what didn't
I really
work? How
like
can I reframe that? But for the most
it.
part,
Let
it's
it go.
gratitude.
Now there's
Yeah,
room for me to reflect on that. I get it. Okay.
gratitude, the focus on it's a big ass moon out there and things are weird. So let's celebrate.
I
So
like it. How do you know if it's what did you say? The darkest moon?
dark of the moon,
Dark
it
of
is
the
just
moon?
like the week of leading up to the new moon.
Do you have like an app that tracks this? Like how do you, or do you just look at the
Well,
moon?
I pay attention to when the new moons and the full moons are, right? I track those in my calendar.
Yeah, I do too.
So if I'm good, then ideally I can also add in another practice of paying attention to the dark of the moon, doing some releasing, shadow work. It's like the therapy work,
Did
right?
you do you do this every day though?
No, no. So what I've been doing, especially since we started the podcast, is I like a couple days or maybe even the Monday before we are going to record, I really look into and dive into the moon that's coming up. And if it's a new moon, I focus on intentions and starting a new chapter. If it's a full moon, I like to look back at the last corresponding new moon that happened 6 months previously. And that's really fun when we have an episode for that, or if you have like journal for that.
No, I love that. We're gonna have to definitely start doing
Yeah,
that.
you see what you were talking about, you see where you were, what were your intentions, and then I will journal and think about what's happened over the 6 months, where am I now compared to where I was, and pull out the things that I'm really grateful for. So it's been a good practice. I've been enjoying it.
I
I
think so.
take
I mean, it's good. You're taking time to devote to a hobby. You're setting intentions. You're being mindful. Practicing gratitude has like they've done brain scans. It's good for you. No, the whole thing is good.
I really look forward to it now. What I do usually is on my lunch break, like 2 or 3 days of my lunch break leading up to our podcast, I'll go outside in the woods behind my office and like, just sit out like by the creek on a rock and journal. And so I love that part. Like I actually
I
make the
mean, too,
point of
like
going outside.
like the schedule of it all.
Hmm.
How do you know that like this is the dark, like that it's a waxing moon or a waning moon? Like, do you have
Oh
an
no,
app?
I don't look at any of that stuff. The waxing and the waning stuff.
But the
I
dark of the moon, like, how do you
I
know
just
like, tonight's the night?
I think so what I've heard and I think it feels true is uh it doesn't have to happen on the day or even the day after or the day before. Like if you just land within the week of these things happening and you're focusing your energy. So if
So pretty chill on like the exact day and time of
yeah, that's what I've
like
heard. And I really someone finally like gave me
my alley.
permission to do that, and it was good
I
because
was gonna say,
before I was like, oh God, I've missed it. Now
actually,
there's no point in doing anything, is
the moon is waxing, it's 7%.
yeah.
Yeah,
No,
the moon is like I don't know. And then if shit happens that day and you can't like you're not feeling like practicing gratitude or looking back or like you're just not, you know, the mental
yeah,
space for it. Like my fucking social battery is drained as shit right now. Like you ask me to do anything out in public or with another person, no, like everything in me. I don't know. I have a battery for reflection and woo woo shit. Like, yeah,
yeah. And I mean,
I
uh,
I like that. Thank you for that
yeah,
switch.
yeah.
I like it.
I give you permission, and I give all of our listeners permission to give yourself some wiggle room around when you're practicing your magic. Well, you seem like you're tired.
I'm just exhausted. So yesterday, I didn't really sleep super well on Friday. So I got up at like 3 a.m. and just started like doing stuff. So I was up since then. And then went out to dinner and some drinks. And that kept me out until like 2 a.m. That's Saturday. And then
Who was that with? Was that the guy you said you were no.
no guy off Hinge.
Okay. I
Yeah.
know on Thursday you said that you were going on a date with a guy who you were like actually you were like he's my type. Was it that guy?
Yes, it was that guy.
Okay. So it
He
went
was. Yeah. It was fun. It was fun.
does
Um,
that feel I feel like when I just take the 2 minutes to look at your dating apps, I get the sense that I would be able to easily forget even that I had a type because it's just so much information coming at
it's
you
and
at
it's
all
so many
times.
like guys, and I get yeah, the 21-year-olds and then the 78-year-olds, they're like, I like women that take care of themselves when you're clearly 400 pounds.
And
Get a lot of
everyone in between, right?
oh my
Like
God.
just
And it's like you see so much shit that like a guy, oh, okay, that one's like that one looks normal.
it's a
And then the
thing.
next day, like they message you and you're like, what the fuck was I thinking? Like, no, them in isolation, it's different. No, he was very, like, he was very
Like
good
you
looking, he, like covered
immediately
in tattoos. Yeah, like
like this is my type.
joked around a little bit and we were supposed to meet for coffee, but because the day had kind of gotten away from me, um, we ended up just meeting for like early dinner. Um, and it was really good. It actually was really good. They had a key lime pie one. I had like a watermelon cucumber thing that was amazing. It was good. And then I had cheese stuffed shrimp. It was some kind of bacon or prosciutto rolled shrimp. You would think cheese and shrimp like not so good. It was really good. So we did that. And then his house was in walking distance. We just went back to his house and got real high. And we
There you
played
go.
with the stray cat outside. There's other stuff, but we're not going to talk about any of that. But that was nice. But then I had to drive back from Westminster at like 1.
Yeah.
So I was just tired. And then like we drove down to Rockville and we had dim sum and it wasn't really that good.
Mhm.
Now I think my grandma, like there was a reason we always went at 10:30 in the morning. So it's like they serve it till 3. Why do we have to be here like first thing? Apparently because all the shit gets cold and they run out of stuff.
It all just sits there on those little carts the entire day.
Yep. They didn't bring us any water. There was no sauce. Like it wasn't
Wasn't
that
the
good.
same.
And I like hyped it up like it's so good. And one of the things I got was chicken feet by accident. Have you ever had a chicken foot?
No, but I've
Oh
seen
my God, dude. I'm still, it's gonna take me a while to process that experience.
you ate it. You
I
like were
tried
super.
to. I
Yeah.
tried to give it the old college try. So it's like just these two things, and they're kind of it's floppy,
Mm-hmm.
but scaly too. So it's this floppy, scaly thing. And like there's a bone at the end. So I'm like, okay, I try to take a tip off, thinking like, okay, let me just taste like the meat, like it's a wing. No, there's bones in that too, dude. It's a fucking finger. It's like
Right.
if you were eating a finger. It was
Yeah.
exactly like you
Eating.
imagine eating a finger would be.
Yeah.
I literally, as soon as I bit down, I spit it out of my mouth like a child. Like I couldn't even, it was fucking terrible.
Oh no. After
Yes. Yeah,
2 nights of not sleeping and then that.
yeah, I'm just tired. And then like, I mean, the community, whatever, I can't remember the name. I keep forgetting it. But the restore place we went to, he's like, oh yeah, we can go to Rock. Yeah, it's right near there. That motherfucker's from Hagerstown. He doesn't know what's near anything. It was in Hyattsville.
Hyattsville, not Hyattstown, which is right near you.
No, Hyattsville in PG
Oh
County.
shit.
Yeah. So we
Oh,
drove to Hyattsville.
oh,
Yeah. And the only way down is the Beltway.
right.
So I drove all up and down Rockville Pike in the Beltway all day. And neither of us got anything from the restore. Like we didn't even find any treasures.
Hmm. And if it's
It
the
was
same
cool. It
place
was cool as shit though. Like
if it's the same place we're talking about, there's one right there off of South One.
I'm calling it the restore, but it's that concept, but like a huge fucking warehouse, like
Okay.
insanely big, all kinds of shit. But
He
yeah,
was saying
same
like
concept.
doors and shit that you can get there, like people, like housing, like pieces of house
Like
there.
cabinets and doors and
Right.
like tile and flooring. Like it's good to know that that's there. But we didn't find any, like we had fun looking at all the stuff and making fun of everything,
Yeah.
but neither of us bought anything.
It was an okay day.
It was okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
it was okay. But like, I wanted to cancel on both of those things this weekend and I didn't. Like everything in me was like, I'm not up for it. I don't think I'm going to enjoy it.
Right.
And I went against it and I was right. I'm just tired. Like I wasn't good company. I was just I'm not being good company now.
I'm just ready to call it a day and get some sleep.
No, but I don't like, I don't feel like sleeping. I'm like revenge like that thing. I've had no time to like myself all weekend that I'm probably gonna end up staying up late and like fiddling around with my planner and doing laundry and shit, like just doing dumb shit.
I know that game.
That's
Usually mine's I stay up until 1 in the morning just staring at reels on my phone. It's really productive.
and that's probably I say I'm gonna do stuff with my plan. I'm gonna play Stardew Valley for like 7 hours.
Put a show on and then just play on your phone the entire time.
Well, I was rewatching that Marcel the Shell with Shoes On. It's the most heartwarming, like it's just and it's funny and I love it and it's going away.
I know I'm gonna have to watch it.
I don't know where I'm gonna be able to see it. All right, I need to get this feminism against progress shit off my screen.
There you go. Don't let it ruin your night.
No, Nothing can ruin my night. It's fine. Everything's good.
I don't know. Sounds like you had a fun weekend. Even if you didn't have fun, you went out and did the thing. I think it was good that you forced yourself to do it.
I mean, yeah, it's better because I was like, I'll end up getting bored or something, and I don't know if I stay home. I'm just like, I don't regret any of it. I'm just tired. Yeah.
Well, back to the dark of the moon stuff goes, I haven't done any of it. It sounds like hard work, and I haven't been able to incorporate that into my schedule. I just know that it exists. It seems like it makes more sense to do your releasing and like your heavy soul searching type stuff
In the dark.
in the dark. Yeah, definitely in the dark, and before you set your intentions. Like that makes that timeline, it makes
I
more
agree.
sense to me. Yeah,
I fully agree. You got to make room for new shit.
exactly.
I'm on board.
Or just do what we do and keep adding on, adding, piling, keep it all, get rid of nothing.
That we're doing?
Well, are you setting aside some real time to do some serious shadow work? Just
This
like
is
battling your inner demons and
this
like
is it.
your
No,
inner
God, no. Are you
child and
serious? Absolutely fucking not. Good Lord.
no, we just pile on top of that stuff.
I know I do that all goddamn day for 90,000 other people. No.
Other people, exactly.
Yeah, no, I didn't. I'm not interested. I know all mine. They come out in that work.
There you
You're like,
go.
oh, I got irrationally angry about that. There's probably something to maybe journal about. I'll journal every once in a while, but it's usually fits of emotions. There's no like, I don't have a practice around it. It's more
Yeah.
of just, why did I punch that wall?
Well, and before the podcast, there was a period of time where we were being good about doing a little practice around the new and the full moons together.
Mhm.
And
Yeah, we would get together and we would like burn dried flowers and set our intentions and write these little cards. And I really liked the cards because it was fun to open them up in 6 months and be like, what happened?
they're small, which I like. I like that you have
I
a
found you
limited
gave me a pack of them. They're like little thank you cards. They're perfect.
amount of space, so you just don't have to, it
It doesn't
doesn't
have
have
to
to
feel.
feel like a big lift to write that stuff down. Like if you
Yeah.
were like, okay, it's the time has come, I have to write a few things down. You can definitely fit that in 5 minutes.
Yeah, it only took us a minute, but I liked burning the things.
Mm-hmm.
And especially in the winter, it's nice to your little fire pit in your backyard is so nice.
Yeah. Yeah, it was fun. On the new moon, we would write down our intentions. And then on the full moon, when we were being good, we would open those intentions up that we had sealed away for 6 months and burn those intentions to release them and say thank you. It was very
Yeah, we
fun.
reflect on like, oh, look at what I've accomplished and I've learned, and look at how different things are. Look at how everything is still exactly the same. Like it was kind of interesting.
It always felt like I had gotten to the place that I wanted to be. Like anytime I set my intentions and I look back at them, I have almost always accomplished them or gotten closer to them.
Are they just like more realistic intentions than I would set, or like what's an example?
Well, on a perfect, I'm so glad you asked. A perfect example. Back in February, we had been talking for 2 years about publishing our podcast. We were getting closer to it, and I think both of us were like I know that
We
we've
kept
been
pushing
talking
it
about
back, like,
this and doing the recordings, but
but we still have to do this, and then we'll do it, and we'll do this first, and then we'll do it, and then we'll do it, and then and then we ran out of reasons why to push it
yeah,
back.
well, and we talked about it. I think the reason, if I remember, I think the reason we didn't record an episode for the Aquarius new moon is because both of us were feeling really like anxious and up in our chests about actually doing the thing.
I remember that
And
happened. I don't remember what moon it was associated with. So with
yeah,
our powers
so
combined.
I think that it was this one, and we just, instead of recording, we just talked about our fears, and then we got to the place where like, yep, we're scared, we're anxious, but we're ready to move forward. And so we committed to doing it. So it's the Aquarius full moon, and we didn't record a video for the Aquarius new moon back in February, but I did write down some intentions that I will be happy to share with you.
All right, let's talk about them.
Here we go.
All right.
So imagination and originality, community, and friendship is Aquarius vibes.
Okay.
Using this energy to really decide, yes, we are doing this podcast. Yes, we are scared, fear is present, but we are also excited, and I feel in alignment. This is a risk, and felt a real heartfelt yes to this new path. Still fear, but fear with commitment. I didn't realize fully that I was still on the fence. We talked through a lot of things and specific worries that were coming up for us. Feeling more solid in our friendship, and damn, this is fun.
It is.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a perfect example right there of that was my intention.
Look at that.
Right? And look at us. 6 months later, fucking published over 10.
We are.
Yeah.
You're welcome, everyone.
Like 100 plus downloads
on the internet.
Yeah. Amazing. So there you go. That's how my intentions go. I set the intention, set it, put it down, don't really think about it or remember it. And then 6 months later, I look back.
But you're planting a seed.
It never feels like anything is happening, right? Like life just feels like it's always going on, and that you're not really, it's hard to say, here's my intention, and now let me focus on that for the next 6 months. Let me make a new practice for the next 6 months. And that's not really what it is. It's really, you just say the thing, you put it out there, and then you leave it. And it's nice to look back 6 months later and be like, oh, look, I wanted to do that, and now I've done it. Look at that. A little magic happening.
Yeah, I like the card thing, I think, because I need to write everything down. I don't remember.
No, you can't remember it.
Anything. I can't remember fucking shit. I like the little cards for me. You can keep your journal.
Maybe for our next new moon, we'll bring our cards out and actually take a minute before we drink too much and write down our intentions, two or three intentions for the new moon.
I wonder if they'd be different after we drank.
We should test it.
Probably be a little less legible.
Sober intentions and not so sober intentions, and just see what happens. See what the universe responds more to.
The drunk ones have to be very honest, though.
Anytime Aquarius comes up, I always think about the song.
Yeah.
And so I looked it up. I asked Chad GPT if it is actually the age of Aquarius. And I guess it's contested amongst the astrologers if we're in the age of Aquarius yet, or if we're leading up to it. But so it all has to do with the vernal equinox, which is like the January 1st, or the start of the new year is the vernal equinox. And for 2,150 years, roughly, the new year starts in one astrological symbol, like under one astrological sign.
Okay.
So we have been in Pisces forever. We are either there or we're coming up on in the next 20 plus years, where the new year will start every year in Aquarius. And so that's the age of Aquarius.
Okay. So whatever age we've been in since before Jesus.
Right. And it's speaking of, so Pisces, hold on.
Does it define the last 2,500 years?
Pisces, defines the last 2,500 years roughly, and Aquarius is going to define the next 2,500 years.
So this is the beginning of the next 2,500 years.
Exactly.
What defined the Pisces, though?
Well, it was spirituality, faith, inner world, Pisces. You mentioned Jesus. That's what rang the bell.
What's before Pisces? I'm gonna look in my little book. I think, yeah, Pisces is at the end of the year.
right?
Oh, wait.
Yeah,
Okay, well, I have it as Aquarius is in between Capricorn and Pisces. It
that's
is.
correct. Aries was the last one. Yes, so Aries was the age before the one where we're in now, where it's all about religion.
Aries
Hmm,
is war, I think.
right? He's the
Yeah.
god of war.
Okay.
Hmm.
Hmm. Hmm.
Historians
Hmm.
of the stars. Well, anyways, back to our age of Aquarius.
Oh,
I don't
yeah, here we go.
write up, but I saw, what was it?
Oh, yeah, it was okay. So you're progressive, you're creative, innovative, but that leads to a
Weird.
level of rigidity, and you're like, no, but we have to keep innovating, and then you become defensive.
Like,
But I'm the only one that's right, and then it leads. So we both highlighted rigidity to defensiveness to hubris. What it says is such inflexibility makes sense within the context of innovating, which can be a process of extreme vulnerability and leaving yourself open to criticism from a majority of folks who at best just don't get what you're doing, or at worst find innovation and therefore Aquarian energy dangerous. Unnecessary emotional detachment occurs, and then an overdeveloped self-belief settles in. Yeah,
the age of Aquarius was all about technology also. But
that
haven't we
makes
been in
sense.
the age of technology, or are we entering
No,
the age of technology?
we barely had the internet as kids. And now look at that. We're talking on the internet. I
I
did
know.
just, I hate technology, but I literally, that's how I make my money.
Well, yeah, because we have to. That's just the way it is now. So I just wonder if it's all going to get ramped up, right? Technology is like just beginning.
So
Just
technology, ugh, rigidity, defensiveness, hubris. Oh, and then the world will explode. It feels like a cycle. Then you rebuild. We all just fight a lot, and then we give up and like, all right, let's figure out a religion and keep everybody in line.
no,
It's
religion's dead.
everybody.
Religion was in the old age. No one cares anymore.
Did you hear that, everybody? We all had a meeting. We've decided.
It's the age of Aquarius.
So your
The
religion doesn't
age
matter anymore.
of the individual and how weird they can be, and everybody has to love it. So that's big picture, but bringing it back to Aquarius full moon, what do we need to be thinking about from the last 6 months? What have we learned?
Your fucking
Help us grow.
intuition more. Just trust your intuition. Fucking go with it. If you're wrong, you're wrong. But like that's what you're gonna feel most comfortable with. It's like that's what my body was telling me. That's I think a hard conclusion I've come to over the last 6 months.
Okay, I like that.
Mm-hmm. Just like just stop second guessing yourself and stop invalidating yourself all the time. Just like it doesn't feel right.
I like that. That's a good insight into the last 6 months. That's something good to pull out.
For me, because I hadn't thought about I hadn't reflected on it till we did the episode, and now I've had a few days. So I feel hard on that. And I'm just exhausted. And I feel like when I'm tired, things get clarified and simplified. I don't
That's interesting. What are things like when you're not exhausted?
get out of like, well, what does that mean? And what are you doing? I don't know. I have the energy to kind of overthink. But it's
Uh,
easier, I think, to go kind of with the first reaction you have when your resources are low. That's why like reaction and responses are different.
Yeah, I like to agonize over the first reaction and whether it's the right one or not, but in the end, it usually.
Exactly. But if
Mhm.
you're tired, you're like, nope, that was my reaction. And that's what I'm doing.
'Cause I have no energy for anything else.
Mm-hmm.
That's good. You should write that down as your 6 month,
Month look back. Okay, yeah. So this is yeah. Huh, we're learning so much.
and so I don't think about it.
I willfully ignore it. I'm a feminist against progress.
Exactly.
It's gonna bug the fucking shit out of me. I'm gonna have to learn more about this book
Learn more about it. Yep.
without like it's gonna bum me out though if it is what I think it is. And I've like Googled it or read it and like
Well, you'll have to go into it
supported it.
with an open mind. Probably like most
Oh,
things,
with
there are
love and
things.
curiosity. Yep.
Yep. There you go.
See, I could take my own advice, but I'm not going to. I'm gonna meet it with fucking skepticism, anger, and derision. Like, what does this bitch have to say?
I am already decided, and
Yeah,
that is
yeah,
how
I'm
to
gonna read
fight.
everything through this lens of trying to confirm my existing assumption. You're a piece of shit. And I'm gonna filter out everything that doesn't support that. Yep.
Well, it's good to know
Confirmation
yourself.
bias. I'm super pumped.
One thing that I'll drop in here right in the middle of our Aquarius full moon, I've still been doing some of my Leo season work, and I'm working on a project. I don't know how a project seems strong because I don't think I can sustain it. So Leo season was all about your narratives and like the scripts that we write for ourselves and the scripts that other people write for us, and looking at them and examining them, and are they what we want to be presenting to the world, or do we want,
Right.
something different. So I wrote down just a long laundry list of, I don't know, just things, like random things that make up a person and make up a life. And one by one, I'm taking them and I'm writing down my old narrative, which is maybe like my current narrative, but
The
ideally it's
one
my
you want
old
to
narrative.
replace.
Yeah,
Or
exactly. And my new narrative and what I want it to be. So
right.
I've done two so far. I did one for creativity. So like my old narrative was, uh, creativity is great, and I probably could be a creative person if I had ever given myself time and put energy towards being creative, but I didn't. And so now that ship has sailed. And there's really no point in being creative if you're not going to be good at it. Like, who wants to do that? And it's
But you're
messy.
not gonna be
I don't
good at
really,
everything right off the bat then.
but and that's what I tell my kids. Like, I know that to be true. But when I'm like, oh, like I want to try like painting or drawing. And then I'm like, no, why would I do that? I'm terrible at that. And that doesn't sound like fun at all. If I'm not good at it,
Yeah,
no,
that voice in your head can be mean as shit.
right. And so all that, like that whole, like, yeah, like I could have been creative at one point, but I don't have time now. And who has time for that? And that's like just, maybe something that I could have done earlier, or maybe something that I'll do in the future, but I certainly can't do it now. I wrote the whole new narrative, and we are inherently creative people. Like we're here, we're human, and therefore we are creative. We're creating our reality. Uh, I exist, and therefore I am creative. And I set aside, and I kind of picked out all the things that I do on a pretty regular basis that help to nurture my creativity that you don't even realize that you do.
Like what?
Like my journaling and
Mm-hmm.
else.
I feel like this is arguably creative.
Right, exactly. That was something that I put in there, our podcast, and there were a few other things, but I just, it's been a really fun exercise to do. And it
But also like
feels
the cakes you
lightening.
make for the kids' birthdays.
Yeah, yeah, I wrote that down too. There
Creative
you go.
thing.
See,
Yeah,
there's all
the
good
stuff you
little
do around
things,
the house, like it's creative. You
right?
are a very creative person, I think. I feel like, are you referring to like artistic?
Well, I think there's a lot of things that I would love to do, to be able to like devote time to sit down and, do these projects that I have in my mind. Or,
Um,
you just see people who it seems like they're seemingly out there just living every day in a full, like, they're just making art and making things. Yeah, they're creative and I'm not, right? That's
mhm.
the old narrative. When I examine that narrative and I put it all down on paper, I can see what's true and what isn't and rewrite it. And so it's nice. It feels light. It feels lightening. Lightning? Like it's like I'm lightening that heavy narrative,
And
that burden of being, of not doing the thing that I want to be doing.
I like it.
Yeah,
And
it's
it's
been
just a
nice.
nicer way to kind of talk to yourself and walk through life.
Well, right. And we just don't realize what we're telling ourselves a lot of the time. You just
Yeah,
don't know what you're saying.
you
You
really
don't,
have to, and words matter. We're both guilty of this, of like, yeah, no, because I'm stupid or this or something like that. Like you're planting seeds there. Like, and when you say like, oh, that person's creative, I'm not at all.
right. Like I could never do that.
And
Or
it
whatever it is.
forms
Like,
these underlying beliefs that then affect other decisions and other aspects of our lives.
and it's you usually don't even a lot of times I wouldn't even say the things out loud because I
Yeah.
know there's they're not exactly true and they're not welcome, right, to the people around you. So you don't say them out loud, but that doesn't stop you from
No, but not saying it
thinking,
out loud and like that thought process of like you're protecting it, you're
right,
nurturing it, you're feeding it, it's getting bigger. But when you say it out, like you said, when you say it out loud or when you write it, you see it in black and white, it's like, oh, this is silly. And your brain kind of automatically challenges it. Like, this isn't true. Like if someone walked up or I said this about you, your brain would kind of automatically go into a defensive position of like, here are all the reasons that's not true. But when it's just in your head, you're kind of like, okay, well, I feel like there's this default assumption that like that voice in your head is coming from some like deeper knowing, some higher power. And it's not always.
right.
We don't know what the fuck it is. But for a lot of people, it's just mean. It's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
stupid. You fail at everything. This is going to go horribly. It's like if we talked about like the auditory hallucinations, they're never like, you look great today. You're doing really well. Like that thing you're looking for is over here. It's always, you're a piece of shit. You're a terrible person. Go kill that guy. It's always really negative, and we don't
Yeah.
know why that is. So just knowing that, but you can trick your brain into thinking other things. And that is actually a really effective tool.
So it's not
Or
even
does this
tricking.
belief serve me? Does this thought even
Well,
serve? Just the fact that that voice goes, it can argue both sides of everything. It'll support whatever you want it to support. You can argue both sides of almost anything in your head endlessly. But it's what do you feed? What do you nurture? What serves you? Because does it serve you to think of yourself as a not creative person? You don't have that capacity, or does it to think of yourself as a naturally, innately creative person? Does that feel better?
well, yeah, it feels true, right? It feels like writing down lies and then writing down the truth in doing this practice.
Which
Like,
is a good way to approach our thoughts and feelings sometimes. Like you have a thought, like, is that true? What evidence do I have to support that? Is it even fucking true?
yeah. Well, there's an innate knowing. And so I can write down all the bullshit, all the negative things, see them, know that, like, okay, I see that you're in me. But what really is helpful is to write down the new narrative, which
Mm-hmm.
feels like the truth. And when you're
Yeah.
writing, there's something that can come through you in writing when you're trying to access like an ultimate truth that feels like it's not even coming from you. It feels like something's telling you. Like,
It resonates stronger than the
yeah, it's just like coming from something outside of yourself. Like this is the uh sacred truth.
mm, yep. So good journaling exercise, good reflection exercise.
Yeah, it has been
Examine
nice.
stories that you're telling yourself. And words matter. Pay attention to how you talk about yourself in situations.
I would never know unless I wrote it down.
I would never be aware of it if I wasn't calling other people on it all the time. But I hear it. You don't have to believe everything you think. And I think there's immense utility in examining those things because it clears out the shit you don't need to make room for, like you said, this kind of higher understanding.
Exactly.
We're next.
Yep. We're
Well,
in
well,
number of
you're
our
going to be
lives.
37 here soon.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's right. That's one thing we didn't talk about.
Your
No,
birthday. Your birthday's coming up.
my birthday's coming up,
Hey.
and we've been thinking about birthdays in the wrong way.
Oh, yeah. Remind
Where
me.
it's like, oh, you're turning 37. In truth, you are at the culmination of your 37th year, right? Like I'm living my 37th year on my birthday.
Hmm.
I hit the end of 37. and start my 38th year. So really, we're 38.
I can't remember what country it is. I think there's a few that start birthdays like you're one the day you're born.
That's where like the whole weirdness happens.
But that's why it's hard for me to remember, like when people are like 18th century, it's because we don't count that first one. So 18th century means the year was 17 something,
That's
right?
ridiculous.
It can't, it just doesn't stick in my brain. I can't when they're like, oh, 17th century problem. Like, okay, so it was the year 1700. Like that's what my brain goes to. But it's,
Obviously.
I
And
think it's like the year is like 1600 something.
I can't even begin to piece that together. None of it makes sense.
Just say the year. Just say the fucking year.
This is true. Idiots.
Everybody's dumb.
But we're celebrating. Yeah.
Celebrating that you have
Your
lived for
first year,
37 years.
you've been on the earth for a full solid year. It's the end of
Right.
that first year. So I'm coming up on the end of 37, moving into my 38th year. It just takes on a whole different tone when you think about it that way.
I think so.
Yeah.
It's a positive, like forward-looking tone too, I think.
Kind of.
I think
Only
so.
for some people it's terrifying because you're actually a year older than you've been telling yourself.
Oh, well, that's just words too. Like that doesn't matter, but you're like, I'm turning 37.
1 year closer to death. It matters.
We're closer to death than we were when we started recording this. Like you're all gonna die. I don't know what
Yeah.
everybody's freaking out about. Everybody's too worried about death.
Everybody should relax. I
Hot
don't get
take.
it.
Calm down.
I don't understand what the big deal is.
It's gonna happen.
It's death.
Why are you fighting it? Like
Nothing to be weird about.
you don't know. Like, but there's
Don't
nothing to do
fight
about it.
it.
Locus of control, everybody. Calm down.
Don't start a whole industry or multiple industries
You
trying
can,
to
I mean,
fight against it.
you can try. You can try to pretend like it's not gonna happen. You can thwart it off all you want. And then you can get hit by a bus jogging for health.
Have you seen that one guy who's like, he's a multimillionaire and he's made all his money and he's like, all right, that's it. Now I'm going to devote the rest of my life to trying to like not just live as long as possible, but be as like to reverse the aging process.
Oh, that's sad.
This guy, it is sad.
That feels like a really
And he
durable
looks
way to live life.
bananas. Like, I don't know what he's done to himself. And he's not doing it with like plastic surgery or anything like that. He's, taking a billion supplements and doing, I don't know, ice baths and red light therapy and
Like
certain
all of the trendy
just
things that
doing
like,
everything possible
so what
to
does he look, why does he look weird? Like what
I
happened?
don't know.
Does he
I
look tired? That sounds exhausting.
no, he looks like a vampire. Like he like has like glassy skin, which sounds nice. Like we all want glassy skin, but it doesn't look right. He's like successfully
Glassy,
reversed
like dewy, like and moisturized or like plastic?
I don't know, creepy. Yeah, plastic maybe.
Find out what this guy's name is.
I will. I'll send you a
Yeah.
picture of him because it's bizarre.
But
He's
to
fully
devote the
devoted.
rest of your life to the fountain of youth. Okay.
It's wild. Like he had, I don't know, did he sue his girlfriend for having cancer? I feel like that was a story.
That's cool.
Yeah, or maybe she sued him because she got cancer and he was like, you're disgusting. You're like this.
What?
Yeah, yeah, because he's so freaked out by death. Like,
Your cancer is gross.
yeah.
He
And I
sued her for like getting cancer around him. I've been trying to ice bath my way away from death, and this bitch had the nerve to get cancer, to
really
choose
interesting.
cancer.
This is a very interesting way to live your life. I'll find it.
He
I'll
sounds
send
mentally ill. That sounds,
it.
you sound completely insane. But also, we just described that whole, we just made up that lawsuit. So it
There's
was a
some
lawsuit involving cancer.
he didn't like it. He
And
won. The
we
judge
decided that this is obviously what that kind of
ruled in
person
his
would do.
favor. All right.
All right, love bug. I will see you Friday after work.
for my birthday.
Possible day.
Alrighty. I love you.
All right. I love you too.
Talk to you later.